Before her name was attached to one of the most shocking murder cases in recent history, Faith Danielle Hedgepeth was a daughter, a sister, and a friend. She was born on September 26, 1992, in Warren County, North Carolina, and was a proud member of the Hawaiian-Saponi Native American tribe. Faith had an infectious smile and an energy that drew people to her. She wasn't just another college student. She was an achiever, someone who worked hard for the future she wanted. Welcome, campers, to another chilling edition of Far From Fiction, where the lines between truth and nightmare is often razor thin. Here we uncover the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime cases, and the stories that haunt the world long after the headlines fade. If you're new to the channel, I am Rob and I will be your host for this evening. This is the Friday Night Campfire Stories, a place where truth is often more terrifying than fiction. Tonight we dive into a case that has haunted investigators for over a decade. The brutal and senseless murder of Faith Hedgepeth, a promising young woman with a bright future, taken from this world in the most violent way possible. The evidence was there, the DNA was there, but the answers, they just remained out of reach. Until now. So grab your blankets, get comfortable, and join me as we unravel this chilling mystery. But before we begin, if you love deep dives into true crime, unsolved mysteries, and the eerie unknown, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and join the campfire today. Your support keeps these stories alive. Faith attended high school in Warrenton, where she quickly became known for her kindness and intelligence. She was an honor student, a cheerleader, and an active member of her community. Her passion for education led her to earn the prestigious Gates Millennium Scholarship, a scholarship given to only 1,000 students each year, covering the cost of college tuition. The scholarship was more than just financial aid, it was a ticket to the future that she had always dreamed of. In 2010, Faith arrived at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She planned to major in biology, and she had aspirations of becoming a pediatrician or a teacher. Her life at UNC was filled with promise. She was an ambitious young woman who balanced her studies with an active social life. She joined Alpha Pi Omega, the nation's oldest and largest Native American sorority, and formed strong friendships, especially with her roommate, Karina Rosario. Faith and Karina were close, practically inseparable. They shared an apartment off campus, went to events together, and studied side by side at the university's library. Faith's world was filled with laughter, goals, and the unwavering belief that she had her entire future ahead of her. But sometimes the brightest futures can be extinguished in an instant. And for Faith Hedgepeth, that moment came in the early hours of September 7th, 2012. A night that should have been like any other, but instead it became the night that she never woke up from. Faith and Karina spent most of their day like many other students at UNC. That evening, they attended the Rush event for Alpha Pi Omega. It was a fun, social night, and after the event, the two headed back to their shared apartment at the Hawthorne at the View complex. At around 7:15, they arrived home, but instead of settling in for the night, they made a different choice, one that would unknowingly set the night's tragic events into motion. Around 8 p.m., Faith and Karina decided to go to the Davis Library on campus. Faith was a dedicated student, and like many nights before, she wanted to get some studying done. The two stayed there for several hours, surrounded by the quiet hum of students buried in textbooks. Just after midnight, Faith and Karina left the library. Instead of heading straight home, they decided to go out. One last stop before calling it a night. Their destination, The Thrill, a popular nightclub in downtown Chapel Hill. At 12:30, they arrived at the club. Surveillance footage captured the two walking inside. Faith dressed in a white tank top and jeans, smiling as they entered. They spent about an hour there, dancing, talking, enjoying the atmosphere, but something happened inside the club. Something that made Karina uneasy. Reports suggest that while they were inside, Karina had an encounter with her ex-boyfriend, Eric Tacoy Jones. The relationship between them had been rocky, marked by fights and jealousy. It's unclear exactly what was said that night, but whatever it was enough to make Karina want to leave. At 2 p.m., Faith and Karina left the thrill, and they headed home. Surveillance footage shows them walking out of the club, their night seemingly ending without an incident. But we now know Faith just had about 5 hours left to live. At 2:40 a.m., Faith and Karina arrived back at their apartment. The two walked inside, but not long after, Karina decided to leave again. She went to stay with a friend for the night. Reportedly leaving the apartment unlocked, Faith, now alone, was last heard from at approximately 3 a.m. This was the last moment of Faith Hedgepeth's life. What happened between then and the morning is a chilling mystery that has haunted investigators for over a decade. At around 11 a.m. on September 7th, Karina returned home. What she found inside would send shockwaves through the community. Faith was lying, partially undressed on the floor near her bed, covered by a blanket. Blood was splattered across the room, and an empty bottle of Bacardi rum was found near her body, the weapon used to end her life. And then there was a note, a scrawled, angry message left at the crime scene. But who wrote it, and why? At 11 a.m., Karina Rosario returned home after spending the night at a friend's place. When she walked into the apartment, she expected to find Faith still sleeping. Instead, she found something out of a nightmare. The autopsy would later reveal the full brutality of Faith's final moments. She had been beaten multiple times in the head with the blunt objects, believed to be the rum bottle. She also suffered cuts and abrasions, indicating a struggle. While there is no definitive evidence of sexual assault, investigators did find semen at the scene. DNA that would later become one of the most crucial pieces of evidence in this case. The killer had left something behind, a trace of their identity, but despite this crucial clue, the crime scene was far from straightforward. And then there was the note, scrawled hastily on a fast food bag, left near Faith's body, 4 words that haunted this case. I'm not stupid, bitch, jealous. Who wrote it? What does it mean? Was this a personal attack? A jealous rage fueled by betrayal? Or was it a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators? Some believe the killer left this note as a twisted signature, while others argue that it was meant to frame someone else. Forensic experts analyzed the handwriting, but results were inconclusive. Was it written by the same person who committed the murder, or had someone staged the scene, knowing the message would create more confusion than clarity? With a brutal crime and a mysterious note, police immediately turned to those closest to Faith. Who had the opportunity? Who had the motive? The first person they questioned was Karina Rosario.
Darrell 911, where is your emergency?
I just walked into my apartment and my friend is just like completely unconscious.
Okay, what's your address, ma'am?
I live at Hawthorne at the View.
Give me the address.
I just moved here. I'm about to get it. Oh my God. It's 5639 Old Chapel Hill Road in Durham.
Okay, repeat it to me so I make sure I've got it correct.
Okay. 5639 Old Chapel Hill Road. It's apartment 1602.
1602?
Yes.
Okay. What's the phone number you're calling from?
201-321-8075.
Okay, you say your friend is unconscious?
She's unconscious. I just walked in the apartment and there looks like there's blood everywhere.
Listen to me. Somebody's already sending the ambulance. Okay, I need to get some information from you, and I'm gonna help. I'm gonna tell you how to help her. Okay.
Okay.
How old is she?
She's 19.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to touch her, but.
Listen to me. Is she breathing?
I don't know.
You need to check and see. Is she breathing?
I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me.
There's blood everywhere.
There's what?
There's blood everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, is she on her back or is she laying on her stomach?
She's on her back, but like I think she fell off the bed because she's like off the bed. There's blood all over the pillows, like in the comforter. I just don't know what happened.
Okay. All right, listen to me, all right?
Is someone coming?
Yes, I've got somebody coming. I need for you to help her. I need for you to go up to her. We need to see if she's breathing or not. Okay?
I don't think so.
Okay. Listen to me. Go up. The paramedics are on their way. I want you to stay on the line. I'm going to tell you what to do next, all right? Are you right by her now?
Yes.
Okay. Listen carefully.
Moving.
She's not moving. Okay.
No.
Will you touch her arm? Tell me, how does she feel?
She's not moving.
Okay, ma'am, we need to find out if we can help her or not. You've got to, do as I'm asking so we can help her. All right?
Okay.
Okay. If you can, lay her flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Lay her flat on her back.
Flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Okay.
Okay. Kneel next to her. Look in her mouth for food or vomit.
Blood everywhere.
Okay. Kneel next to her. Look in her mouth for food or vomit. Tell me something. Listen to me. What is your name?
Karina. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
It's okay, honey. Listen to me.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Listen to me. When you touched her, how does she feel? Does she feel warm?
No, she feels cold.
She feels cold? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Don't touch anything else, okay? Don't touch anything else.
Hurry.
Okay, they're on their way. I've got police on the way to you, and I've got medics on the way. Okay?
I can't believe this.
Okay. What room is she in?
She's in my bedroom.
Karina sounded distraught, panicked. She had spent the night away from the apartment, and when she returned home, she claimed she had no idea what happened to Faith. But some found aspects of the call strange. She never referred to Faith by name. Her reaction to some seemed almost rehearsed. Then there was Eric Jones. He had a history of aggressive behavior and had allegedly threatened Faith before. Text message obtained by Faith's phone suggested tension between them, and Jones had just sent a chilling message in the past. One reading, "Just know, I'm not a bad person. I just do bad things." Despite suspicion, no physical evidence tied Jones to the crime scene. Police kept looking. Then came the biggest lead of all, the DNA. Whoever killed Faith had left behind their genetic signature. Police knew they had the key to solving this case all along in their hands. The question was, whose DNA did it belong to? For nearly a decade, Faith Hedgepeth's murder remained a chilling mystery. The DNA left behind her killer was a silent witness, locked away in a police database, waiting for a match. Investigators had suspects, theories, and haunting pieces of evidence, but no justice. Years passed, and Faith's family endured the painful reality that her murderer was still out there. That was until 2021, when everything changed. The early years in the investigation was filled with frustration. Chapel Hill police, along with the FBI, pursued every lead. But time and time again, they hit a dead end. They conducted over 2,000 interviews, processed more than 750 potential leads, and ran DNA samples through every available database, but there was no match. Despite having what would be considered a golden key, a complete DNA profile of the killer, the investigators just had no match to it. The frustration grew. Faith's case remained open but stagnant. But behind the scenes, investigators never stopped working. They turned to forensic genealogy, a groundbreaking technique that solved the cold cases like the Golden State Killer, and finally, in 2021, their patience paid off. 9 years after Faith's murder, forensic genealogy finally identified the suspect. The DNA belonged to a man named Miguel Enrique Salguero Alvarez. Miguel was 28 years old at the time of his arrest. He had no known connection to Faith, no direct ties to her social circle. He wasn't a former boyfriend, a jealous friend, or even someone investigators had initially suspected. Yet, his DNA was found at the scene. The question remained, how did he end up in Faith's apartment that night? Miguel was taken into custody on September 16, 2021, nearly a decade after Faith's death. He was charged with first-degree murder, a crime that could result in a life sentence if convicted. But even with his arrest, many questions still lingered. Miguel had been living in Durham, North Carolina, at the time of his crime. He was a native of Guatemala, and reports suggest that he had been in the area for some time before the murder. He had a minor criminal record, driving offenses and small infractions, but nothing that hinted at a history of violence. He was described by acquaintances as quiet, someone who kept to himself. But if that was the case, how did he end up at the scene of Faith's murder? One theory suggests that Faith may have unknowingly encountered Miguel earlier that night. Investigators believe that he could have followed her home from the thrill bar, waiting for the right moment to strike. Others believe that he had been inside the apartment before, possibly through a mutual acquaintance. But the details of how their paths crossed remains uncertain. Miguel is currently awaiting trial. He has been charged with first-degree murder, first-degree burglary, first-degree rape, and first-degree sexual offense, but as of now, no trial date has been set. The prosecution will rely heavily on DNA evidence, arguing that it places him at the crime scene. But without known motive, the defense may attempt to cast doubt on how and when his DNA was deposited. Despite his arrest, the case is far from over. Faith's family hopes the trial will bring them the closure they've been waiting for almost a decade. But until a verdict is reached, questions remain. Was Miguel acting alone? Or could there be someone else who played a role in Faith's murder? Investigators never ruled out the theory that Miguel acted alone. There is a possibility that multiple individuals could have been in Faith's apartment that night that she was killed. Was he just following someone's orders? Was he covering up for another person? And Miguel is responsible for Faith's murders. One question remains. Why? There's no known history between them, no recorded altercations, no direct motive that ties them to Faith. In many homicides, the victim and the perpetrator have a clear link. But in this case, investigators have yet to uncover what truly led to that fateful encounter. Could it have been a crime of opportunity, or a random act of violence, or was there something deeper that has yet to be uncovered? No matter how this case unfolds in the courtroom, one truth remains. Faith Hedgepeth's life was cut tragically short, but her memory lives on. She was a bright woman, full of ambition, intelligence, and warmth. She was a daughter, a friend, and a person who had so much more to give to the world. Her family continues to fight for justice, not just for Faith, but for every victim who still waits answers. They turn their grief into advocacy, reminding the world that Faith was more than just a name in the case file. She was a person who mattered. Though we may never truly understand why tragedy strikes, we can choose how we remember those we've lost. And that, campers, brings us to the end of another episode of Far From Fiction. Faith's story is one that deserves to be remembered, and I hope sharing it, we keep her memory alive while seeking the truth. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to see more like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers, and with your help, I'd love to reach that goal by the end of May. Every like, comment, and share brings more true crime stories to light, and I appreciate every single one of you for being here. Also, if you love twisted tales and stories told from darker perspectives, check out my book, A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, which is available on Amazon right now. And as always, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.